What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the compound and to a special unboxing video where today we'll be taking a look at the new Hammond collection Brachiosaurus. The time has come, it's finally here, and I can finally share this video. This was sent to me for free from Mattel to take photos of back in mid-April. So this video is pre-recorded, but the photos I took can be found over on the official Jurassic World Instagram page. So go and check those out if you haven't yet and show them some love. So we're just going to jump right into this. We have the Brachiosaurus all wrapped up in individual baggies, and pulling the torso section out, the first thing that catches my eye is how nicely sculpted the details are on the body. And I'll bring the Legacy Brach in later on to compare, but just looking at this, I can already tell the details are a lot sharper, not to mention the paintwork is really nicely applied here. This is one of the beefy front legs, and the great thing now is we finally get elbow and wrist articulation or ankle articulation, which will really help with getting some great dynamic shots with this dinosaur. The Legacy Brach was a beautifully sculpted figure, but the limited articulation was the one thing that held it back, at least for me and the photography that I do. But all this new articulation is really going to help bring this figure to life in all of my shots. So here we've got the head and the neck section, which to me is the star of the show. It has a real feel soft rubber neck with material similar to the new 93 Classic Red Rex, and there's some sort of posable armature spine in there which is supposed to allow it to bend, and we'll test that out once I get it all assembled to see how well it really works. So the assembly on this Brach is the same as the Legacy one. Everything seems to be a one-time assembly, which part of me understands why they do that, so the limbs can't get lost over time, but the practical adult in me wishes that you could take it apart for storage purposes, because honestly, I've got a lot of sauropods on my shelf and they take up a ton of room, especially that Dreadnought. So just switching camera angles real quick, because this thing is massive and extremely difficult to fit into frame, so I will have to do sort of a zoom out to get the entire thing on camera. But just kind of going over the articulation real quick, all four limbs have 3 points. The tail has 3 points. One at the base that's on a hinge that can move up and down, and the middle one is on sort of like a ball, so it can move all the way around, and the third one at the end of the tail just sort of rotates around and doesn't really do much, but that's okay. The main two will be what's important to help this thing stand up on its hind legs like it does in the movie. Moving up to the neck, we'll test out the articulation, and it feels like there's 3 sections in here, but really no matter how hard I force it into position, it doesn't want to stay. This might be the only thing that I'm not a fan of on this Brachiosaurus. I dig the rubber neck, but the thing inside is just kind of weird. It's not strong enough to hold it into place, and it just kind of makes the neck look wrinkly and weird. I would have preferred maybe a segmented neck like the Ankylosaurus tail, even though there would have been seam lines in it, but I feel like that would have helped get the range of motion to where it would have worked better. Not a shot against the figure. This is still an awesome Brachiosaurus, but the neck joint just doesn't do it for me. Now the head sculpt is a completely different story. This head sculpt is so well done. The sculpting on it is amazing. There's so much life and character, and if I change up my studio lights, you can see it has glass eyes like the Hammond collection T-Rex, but these eyes are done way better. They look alive and they follow you around, so depending on the lighting, they look solid black, but when the light hits it just right, you can see there's orange in there in the eye, which helps the black pupil to pop. When the light hits it just right, you also get a really nice light catch in there, which just brings this thing to life. It's a chef's kiss. The eyes are so well done. This right here is beautiful. As far as the sculpting and the paint apps go, both are on point. Lots of folds and wrinkles in the sculpt that really show off the weight of this dinosaur, and they're all accented with some tan and brown dry brushing and paint speckles just to add some character and some depth to the skin. There's also some warm flesh tone airbrushing all along the neck and chest that go all the way underneath the belly and stop right at the base of the tail. It's simple and subtle, but it also gets the job done. So just bringing in the Legacy Brach for a side-by-side comparison, and you can see that aside from a few tweaks to the sculpt here and there, they are relatively the same size and build, with the Hammond Collection one being slightly longer in the tail, and of course having more detail in the sculpt, and that's more noticeable now that I have them both side by side. It's kind of hard to realize that the Legacy Brachiosaurus sculpt is very soft in some places when compared to the Hammond Collection one. And another one of the big differences that's noticeable to me are the head sculpts. The Legacy one is slightly smaller and thin, a little bit more realistic looking, I would think. It actually kind of reminds me of the Horizon Brachiosaurus model kit, which is based off of the Stan Winston maquette that they used, right? Whereas the Hammond Collection one looks more like the animatronic puppet they used. It kind of has like that dopey Muppet kind of look to it. And I think that's where the charm is. That's what I like so much about the Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus head, is it's got that sort of Spielberg charm to it. It looks like a puppet. It's just got so much life and character in it. But to get a better idea, here's a shot of both of them next to the Stan Winston maquette, so you can kind of compare and get an idea on accuracy. I'll also throw up a shot here of them next to the Crash McCreary concept art, so you can kind of get an idea on, you know, how close they look to that. But in terms of which Brachiosaurus is the best, I mean, that's up to you to decide. As for me, I honestly think both of these Brachiosaurus figures are great in their own way. So all in all, I am really happy with the way this Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus turned out. It is definitely an upgrade from the Legacy one. Aside from the neck being my only real nitpick about this thing, it is a solid figure, and it does get the compound stamp of approval and wins this review with a solid 9 out of 10. So that is all I've got for this video. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you need more Jurassic related content, you know where to find it. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I'll see you around the compound.